Consider the following statements regarding protection of women from sexual harassment. POCSO Act. Protection of women from sexual harassment. POCSO Act 2013. Definition of sexual harassment in POSH Act is based upon Vishaka guidelines given by the Supreme Court in Banwari Devi case. The Act also provides for scope of amicable settlement at the request of aggrieved women. Local reservation in private sector. Proponents of local reservations in private sector argues that domicile reservation in the private sector is constitutionally protected, since claiming protection under Article 16 Clause 2 is completely misplaced, as Article 16 provides protection only in public employment and not in private employment. Article 16 protects against discrimination in respect to employment or office under in state. The Supreme Court had held in its judgment in the case of Government of AP versus PB Vijay Kumar 1995 that the ambit of Article 16 Clause 2 is limited in scope, as it is confined to employment or office under the government, as against Article 15 Clause 2 which applies to employment or office under private persons too. Statement 2 is correct, since claiming protection under Article 15 Clause 1 is also misguided, as the claim overlooks the law that Article 15 Clause 1, although it covers laws that affects the private offices, provides protection only against the ground place of birth and not in place of residence. Article 15 Clause 1 protects against discrimination only on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. Domicile based reservation was challenged before the Supreme Court in the case of D.P. Joshi versus State of Maharashtra 1955, wherein it was decided that domicile based reservation does not violate Article 15 because there is a difference between a place of birth and place of residence. It was concluded that Article 15 Clause 1 and Clause 2 cannot be invoked for invalidating such residence requirement, because the clauses prohibit discrimination on the grounds of place of birth and not on the grounds of residence. Swamitva scheme, survey of villages Abadi and mapping with improvised technology in village areas. Swamitva scheme is a central sector scheme launched on National Panchayat Day, that is 24th April 2020. The Ministry of Panchayat Raj is the nodal ministry for implementation of the scheme. In the states, the Revenue Department or Land Records Department will be the nodal department and shall carry out the scheme with the support of State Panchayati Raj Department. Survey of India is the technology partner for implementation. CORS, continuous operating reference system network, would help in benchmarking the location and provides 5 cm level accuracy. It supports in accurate georeferencing, ground truthing and demarcation of lands. The scheme aims to provide an integrated property validation solution for rural India. The demarcation of rural Abadi areas would be using drone surveying technology. This would provide the record of rights to village household owners possessing houses in inhabited rural areas in village, which in turn would enable them to use their property as financial asset for taking loans and other financial benefits from bank. FIR refers to an FIR that is registered irrespective of the area. Zero FIR refers to a FIR that is registered irrespective of the area where the offence is committed. The police in such a case can no longer claim that they have no jurisdiction. Such a FIR is then later transferred to the police station that has the actual jurisdiction. so that investigation can begin. Statement 2 is correct. Zero FIR was introduced on the recommendation of the Justice Verma committee formed at the backdrop of the brutal Nirbhaya gang rape in Delhi 2012. This puts a legal obligation on the police to begin investigation and take quick action without excuse of absence of jurisdiction. Suvidha, abbreviated a society for the upliftment of villagers and development of Himalayan area, is a non-profit rural development and voluntary organization and founded in the year 2004, which aims at eliminating poverty, unemployment, poor health and literacy for 60% of its citizens who still live in the backward areas of the nation. In the last 18 years, Suvidha is engaged in promoting of organic and sustainable agriculture in India, especially in the states like Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Odisha, Assam, Bihar, Meghalaya, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra and Chhattisgarh. Suvidha has facilitated establishment of nearly 256 producer groups and contract production projects in some of the above mentioned states. Megalithic culture. The megalithic communities were dominated by religious and supernatural beliefs. This is evident from the elaborate objects associated with the burials. Different burial tradition could indicate different social and ethnic groups, but so far no fixed regional conventions regarding orientation of the bodies or the graves have been observed. The burials vary from total to only fractional types. In this Vidarbha region, horses were buried with the dead, possibly after sacrifice, and this may have been a local ethnic tradition. Though we still do not know about the houses and habitation of these megalithic builders, the recovery of sickles and counters of iron, rice and ragi grains from the excavations at Kunnatur and Hallur respectively shows that these people were probably dependent on largely upon agriculture and part upon hunting, as proved by the hunting scenes in the rock paintings at Higher Benkal. Animals such as cow or ox, goat or sheep, dogs and horses were domesticated. Cow, ox, goat or sheep, dogs and horses were domesticated. So they don't eat annamata. తెలియదు మనకు కూడా. Narsingapattai Nagaswaram, the classical wind musical instrument of Tamil Nadu, has been granted the geographical indication tag under the category of musical instruments of class 15. Nagaswaram is a wind instrument made of wood and metal. The instrument has also been accorded a high status as a Mangala Vaidjam and is played in religious ceremonies, auspicious occasions and classical concerts, and the instrument is also known as Nagaswaram. Bose joined the Indian National Congress under the influence of Mahatma Gandhi and started the newspaper Swaraj. Subhash Chandra Bose joined the Indian National Congress INC under the influence of Mahatma Gandhi and started the newspaper Swaraj. Keeping in mind is the historic significance of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and to honor the memory of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Ross Islands was renamed as Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Dweep by the Prime Minister during his visit to the island in 2018. Neil Island and Havelock Island were also renamed as Sahid Dweep and Swaraj Deep. Traditional New Year. The festival marks the beginning of traditional New Year and reflect our country's composite culture and rich heritage. People of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana call it Ugadi, and in Karnataka Yugadi. In Maharashtra it is celebrated as Gudi Padwa, and in Tamil Nadu it is observed as Puthandu, while our Malayali sisters and brothers celebrate the occasion as Vishu in Kerala. Punjabi sways to the festivities of Vaishakhi, and in Odisha it is called Pana Sankranti. In West Bengal, Polia Boishak ushers in the New Year, and in Assam, Bohag Bihu marks the beginning of the New Year. These names differ. The festive spirit suffers with joy, hope and togetherness remains the same. Digitalization of agriculture in India. The digitalization of agriculture describes integrating cutting-edge digital technology into the farm production system, including artificial intelligence, robotics, uncrewed aviation systems, sensors, and communication networks. Steps taken by the government in this direction: AgriStack, Digital Agriculture Mission, Submission on Agricultural Mechanization (SWAM). Other digital initiatives. AgriStack. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has planned creating AgriStack, a collection of technology-based interventions in agriculture. Digital Agriculture Mission. This has been initiated for 2021 to 2025 by the government for projects based on new technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, remote sensing, and GIS technology, use of drone and robots, etc. Submission on Agricultural Mechanization (SWAM). Under this scheme, subsidies are provided for purchase of various types of agricultural equipment and machinery. Other digital initiatives: Kisan call centers, Kisan Suvidha app, Agri Market app, soil health card portal, etc. Zimny Island. Zimny Island is an island belonging to the Ukraine, located in the Black Sea near the Danube Delta, with an important role in delimiting Ukrainian territorial waters. Snake Island, almost 93 miles away from downtown Sao Paulo, is Ilha da Cumeda Grande, also known as Snake Island. This island is untouched by human developers for a very good reason. Hans Island. It is a barren island in the Arctic. It is situated between Canada and Greenland in the center of the Kennedy Channel of Nares Strait. Environmental DNA. E means eDNA. Applications of environmental DNA. Environmental DNA refers to the DNA that is shed from organisms into the environment and can be recovered from water, soil, and or air samples. eDNA can be used to identify the presence and abundance of species in a given environment. eDNA analysis can be quicker and less invasive than traditional survey methods, and also detect species that are difficult to observe directly. However, it has limitations such as potential contamination, low DNA quality and quantity, and the need for accurate reference databases to interpret results. Quantum computing. Quantum computing is a form of computing that uses quantum mechanical phenomena such as superposition and entanglement to perform computation, unlike classical computing, which uses binary bits that can only be in one of two states, 0 or 1. Quantum computing uses quantum bits, qubits, that can exist in multiple states simultaneously. This allows quantum computers to perform certain types of computations much faster than classical computers. Quantum computing has the potential to revolutionize fields such as cryptography, drug discovery, and financial modeling, among others. However, quantum computing is still in its early stages of development, and there are significant technical and practical challenges that need to be overcome before quantum computers can be widely adopted. These challenges include developing robust qubits, improving quantum error correction, and creating scalable quantum algorithms. Linear optical quantum computing, or linear optics quantum computation (LOQC), is a paradigm of quantum computation allowing universal quantum computation. LOQC uses photons as information carriers, mainly uses linear optical elements or optical instruments including reciprocal mirrors and waveplates. To process quantum information, uses photon detectors and quantum memories to detect and store quantum information. NFT. NFT is a cryptographic asset that positioned on a blockchain consisting of distinct metadata and identification codes. Every NFT that's minted is thus unique, which gives the asset its value. Calm. An NFT bubble occurs when the price for digital assets increasing as the result of increased speculation among investors. If NFT values increase too quickly, their prices will likely crash following the initial hype. It's common for NFT bubbles to take place when newer investors enter the market. Typically, investors will drive prices up based solely on hype because they do not have a thorough understanding of what they are investing in. CryptoPunks are a 10,000 piece token collection on the Ethereum blockchain that was released in 2017 by New York City based Larva Labs that are widely recognized as the first NFTs. Fincluvation. India's Post Payments Bank has announced the launch of Fincluvation, India's Post Payments Bank. IPPB, India's Post Payments Bank. Fincluvation, India's Post Payments Bank, a 100% government owned entity under Department of Post, announced the launch of Fincluvation, a joint initiative to collaborate with fintech startup community to create and innovate solutions for financial inclusion. Fincluvation will be a permanent platform of IPPB to co-create inclusive financial solutions with participating startups. IPPB and DOP collectively serve close to 430 million customers through neighborhood post office and at their doorsteps via more than 4 lakh trusted and capable post office employees and Gramin Dak Sevaks, making it one of the largest and trusted postal networks in the world. Montrix record is a register of wetland sites on the Ramsar list, which are facing immediate challenges. Currently, 2 sites are in the list. Montrix record. The Montrix record is a register of wetland sites on the list of wetlands of international importance where changes in ecological character have occurred, are occurring, or likely to occur as a result of technological development, pollution, or other human interferences. It is maintained as a part of the Ramsar list. The listed sites are threatened by changes that affect their ecosystem, components, processes, benefits, and services which characterize the said wetland at a given point in time. India's 2 wetlands find a place in the Montrix record. They are Koilado National Park in Rajasthan was designated as Ramsar site in 1981 and listed in the Montrix record in 1990. Loktak Lake in Manipur was declared a Ramsar site in 1990 and indexed in the Montrix record 1993. Concepts of free rider problem. When individuals make decisions about buying a public good, a free rider problem can arise. People have an incentive to let others pay for the public good and then to free ride on the purchases of others. The free rider problem is considered an example of market failure. It is an inefficient distribution of goods and services that occurs when some individuals are allowed to consume more than their fair share of the shared resource or pay less than their fair share of the cost. Free riding prevents the production and consumption of goods and services through conventional free market methods. The best way to play for public goods is to find a way of ensuring that everyone will make a contribution, thus preventing free riders. For example, if people come together through the political process and agree to pay taxes and make group decisions about the quantity of public goods, they can defeat the free rider problem by requiring through the law that everyone contribute. ICAP. The ICAP provides a 20-year perspective and outlines actions need to provide access to sustainable cooling. The plan seeks to number 1 reduce cooling demand across sectors by 20 to 25% by 2037 to 2038. And number 2 reduce refrigerant demand by 25% to 30% by 2037 to 2038. Reduce cooling energy requirements by 25% to 40% by 2037 to 2038. Recognize cooling and related areas as a thrust area of research under National Science and Technology Program. Number 5 training and certification of 1 lakh service sector technicians by 2022 to 2023, synergizing with Skill India mission. Bureau of Energy Efficiency BEE has brought out the Energy Conservation Building Code ECBC for all large commercial non-residential buildings and Econivas Samhita for the residential buildings. Procedure for the amendment of the Constitution. An amendment of this Constitution may be initiated only by the introduction of a bill for the purpose in either House of Parliament and when the bill is passed in each house by a majority of the total membership of that house present and voting, it shall be presented to the president, who shall give his assent to the bill, and thereupon the constitution shall stand amended in accordance with the terms of the bill. The bill can be introduced either by minister or a private member and does not require prior permission of the president. The president can neither withhold his assent to the constitution amendment bill nor return the bill for reconsideration of the parliament. A private member also can introduce such bills, and it does not require prior permission of the president. Gene editing. Gene editing tools are used to generate change to the native genetic material, unlike GMOs, which introduce novel configuration of genetic materials typically derived from other organisms. Gene editing methods modify existing genetic material in ways that can yield beneficial outcomes. Multiple tools exist to facilitate gene editing, but CRISPR or Cas is by far the most commonly used. Depending on the nature of the edit that is carried out using site-directed nuclease, the process is derived into three categories: SDN1, SDN2, and SDN3. Environment Ministry recently has exempted genome edited crops through SDN1 and SDN2 processes from stringent regulatory processes that are applied for GM crops. Munich Security Conference. It is annual conference on international treaty, international security policy that has been held in Munich, Bavaria, Germany since 1963. Munich Security Conference. The Munich Security Conference is an annual conference on international security policy that has been held in Munich, Bavaria, Germany since 1963. Over the past 4 decades, the Munich Security Conference has become the most important independent forum for the exchange of views by international security policy decision makers. Each year it brings together about 350 senior figures from more than 70 countries around the world to engage in an intensive debate on current and future security challenges. Dubbed the Davos of Defense, the Munich Security Conference attracts heads of state, generals, intelligence chiefs, and top diplomats from around the world. Bucharest 9. The Bucharest 9 is a political initiative launched in 2015 that brings together 9 countries from Central and Eastern Europe. The member countries of the Bucharest 9 are Albania, Bulgaria, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Estonia, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, and Romania. The Bucharest 9 meets regularly to discuss regional security issues and to coordinate their positions on NATO related matters. The initiative has also been important platform for these countries to express their concerns about Russia's actions in the regions, such as its annexation of Crimea in 2014 and its involvement in the conflict of eastern Ukraine. The Bucharest 9 has been supported by NATO, the United States, and the European Union, which see it as an important forum for promoting regional stability and democratic values. The initiative has also been seen as a way to counterbalance Russia's influence in the region and strengthen NATO's presence in Central and Eastern Europe. Arctic Council. The Arctic Council is the leading intergovernmental forum promoting cooperation, coordination, and interaction among the Arctic states, Arctic indigenous peoples, and other Arctic inhabitants on common Arctic issues, in particular on issues of sustainable development and environmental protection in the Arctic. It was formally established in 1996. The Ottawa Declaration defines these states as members of the Arctic Council. All Arctic Council decisions and statements require concessions of the 8 Arctic states that is Canada, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, the Russian Federation, Sweden, and the United States. India's Arctic policy. India was first granted the observer status in 2013 along with 5 other nations. India was re-elected as an observer to the Arctic Council in 2019. India presently has a single station, Himadri, in NY Alsend, Svalbard in Norway in archipelago. India's Arctic policy aims to enhance the country's cooperation with the resource-rich and rapidly transforming Arctic region. Resource-rich, rapidly transforming Arctic region. Neobanks. These are new age banks without any physical location, present entirely online. Most neobanks do not have a banking license and they partner with licensed banks. They provide digital mobile first financial solutions for payments, money transfers, lending and more. They allow customers to make deposits and withdraw money. They offer debit cards, investment facilities and more. They even provide credit and lending services. However, most neobanks do not have a banking license and cannot operate stand alone, but most neobanks partner with a licensed bank to provide financial services. Neobanks and digital banks may be conflated by some as the both offer banking services via smartphone and other mobile devices, making them comparable, but they are different. A neobank only operate online. Digital banks have become an alternative to traditional banks, offer a similar range of services. Effects of warm Arctic current and La Nina. Warm Arctic waves and La Nina both are expected to cause early heat waves, early depressions and the weird dust storms in India. La Nina is responsible for bringing cold air from Siberia and South China to the Indian subcontinent, which results in a north to south low pressure system which when it interacts with the tropical heating conditions here. Another series of weird weather events were the 3 dust storms that affected Mumbai city and its surrounding region in January and February. The dust storms originated from the border of Pakistan and Afghanistan and affected Mumbai via the Arabian Sea. The reason behind early heat waves, early depressions and the weird dust storms is the continued persistence of a north to south low pressure pattern that forms over India during winters when a La Nina phenomenon is occurring in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. The sea surface temperatures over the east and central Pacific Ocean become cooler than average during La Nina. This affects the trade winds flowing over the ocean surface through change in wind stress. The trade winds carry these weather disturbances elsewhere and affect large parts of the world. In India, the phenomenon is mostly associated with wet and cold winters. Therefore, the current effect of La Nina is completely unexpected. The last time we had a La Nina persisting for 3 years was during 1998 to 2000 and 2000 also had a cyclone in March. So, the La Nina is interacting with the high latitude pattern, basically the warm Arctic region sending atmospheric waves down. If the interaction between La Nina and the warm Arctic in fact happening, then it is an impact of global warming induced by human greenhouse gas emissions. Kuril Islands dispute. The Kuril Islands dispute, known as the Northern Territories dispute in Japan, is territorial dispute between Japan and Russia over the ownership of the 4 southernmost Kuril Islands. About Kuril Island, the island chain known as the Kuril stretches north across the Pacific Ocean from the Japanese island of Hokkaido to the southern tip of Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. The Kuril Islands are a group of 56 volcano islands in East Asia, located between the Russian Kamchatka Peninsula and Hokkaido. They range from northeast to southwest about a mile away, 1200 kilometers. This separates the Okhotsk Sea from the Pacific Ocean. They are under the jurisdiction of the Russian Federation and the part of the Sakhalin territory, but Japan claims two large southern islands, and the islands of Shikotan and Hamobai is also known as the Kuril Islands. Decline of IVC. The Indus Valley civilization declined around 1800 BCE and scholars debate which factors resulted in civilization's demise. One theory suggested that a nomadic Indo-European tribe called the Aryans invaded and conquered the Indus Valley civilization. Through more recent evidence tends to contradict this claim. Many scholars believe that the collapse of Indus Valley civilization was caused by climate change. Some experts believe the dying of the Saraswati river, which began around 1900 BCE, was the main cause for climate change, while others conclude that a great flood struck the area. Another disastrous change in the Harappan climate might have been eastward moving missions or winds that bring heavy rains. Moons can be both helpful and detrimental to a climate, depending on whether they support or destroy vegetation and agriculture. Bhakti movement in Karnataka. Basavanna, Akkamadevi, Allam Prabhu were pioneers of Bhakti movement in Karnataka. While in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, the movement was led by Alvars, devotees of Vishnu, and Nayanars, devotees of Shiva. Similarly, Gnanadev, Namdev and Tukaram were pillars of the movement in Maharashtra, while Ramananda, Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu, Guru Nanak, Kabir Das, Ravidas, Nanak, Mirabai led the movement in northern India. Collegium system. Under the collegium system, the Chief Justice of India and his 4 senior most colleagues make recommendations for the candidates to be appointed as Supreme Court and High Court judges to the President. The collegium right now has 6 judges instead of 5. This is because of the 4 senior most judges will become the next CJI, and it's mandatory for the next CJI to be part of the collegium. Justice Sanjeev Khanna is therefore the 6th member of the collegium right now, who will succeed Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud as the next CJI. The recommendation by the collegium for the Supreme Court can be of two types. One, when the High Court judges are to be elevated to the Supreme Court, and 2, when senior lawyers are directly appointed as the Supreme Court judges. For appointments to the High Courts, the Supreme Court collegium consists of only 3 judges, the Chief Justice of India and 2 senior most judges. For appointments to the Supreme Court, the collegium consists of 5 judges, right now 6. Like the Supreme Court, the High Courts to have a collegium headed by the Chief Justice of the High Court and 2 senior most judges as members. The High Court collegium sends its judicial appointments recommendation only to the Supreme Court collegium. The MOP is the list of rules and procedures for the appointment of judges to the Supreme Court and High Courts. It is a document framed by the government and the judiciary together. Kaziranga National Park. Kaziranga National Park in Assam, home to the largest population of one-horned rhinoceros in the world, is releasing more carbon than it's absorbing. This is according to latest research conducted by a group of scientists from the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, Pune, Maharashtra, and Tezpur University in Tezpur, Assam. Why Kaziranga National Park releases more carbon? Less rainfall, decreasing rainfall in the region. Unique soil of the deciduous forest. The soil is home to large population of bacteria that release carbon dioxide as they breathe, which adds to the carbon dioxide being emitted by other organisms including trees. India's updated list of commitments. Increasing electric vehicles and infrastructures. India aspires to maximize the use of electric vehicles, with ethanol blending to reach 20% by 2025. It is currently 10%, and a strong shift to public transport for a passenger and freight traffic. Strategies for the transition. India will also focus on improving energy efficiency by the Perform, Achieve and Trade scheme, the National Hydrogen Mission, increasing electrification, enhancing material efficiency and recycling and waste to reduce emissions, reducing greenhouse gas emissions. India's forest and tree cover is a net carbon sink, absorbing 15% of CO2 emissions in 2016, and the country is on track to fulfilling its nationally determined contributions commitment of 5 to 3 billion tons of additional carbon sequestration in forest and tree cover by 2030. Using non-fossil fuel based energy, India updated its NDC commitments to ensuring half its electricity is derived from non-fossil fuel sources by 2030 and reducing the emissions intensity by 45% below 2005 levels by 2030. Domestic emissions trading scheme is a key element of India's strategy, given that the government has already announced the creation of the same in India. Phillips curve. Phillips curve suggests that there is a trade-off between inflation and unemployment in the short run. This trade-off arises because as the economy approaches full employment, labor becomes scarcer, then firms must pay higher wages and to attract workers. This increase in wages leads to higher production costs, which firms pass on to customers in the form of higher prices, causing inflation to rise. Conversely, when there is a high unemployment, workers are willing to accept lower wages, which reduces production costs and inflation. However, the relation between inflation and unemployment suggested by the Phillips curve has become less clear over time. In the 1970s, the global economy experienced a phenomenon called stagflation, in which both inflation and unemployment were high. This challenged the traditional Phillips curve relationship, which predicted that low employment would lead to a high inflation. In addition, some economists argue that the Phillips curve relationship has broken down together in recent years, with low unemployment rates falling to produce significantly inflationary pressure. This may be due to a number of factors, including globalization, technological advances, and changes in the structure of the labor market. Atlas. It consists of 4 telescopes, 2 in Hawaii and 1 in Chile and South Africa. Atlas. Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System is a system for detecting and tracking near Earth asteroids that have potential to impact the Earth. It is designed to detect asteroids that are several hundred meters in size and larger, and to provide rapid, accurate observation of their position, speed, and brightness to determine the impact risk. The goal of Atlas is to provide early warning potentially hazardous impacts and to support follow-up observations by other astronomers. It consists of 4 telescopes, Hawaii into 2, Chile, South Africa, which automatically scan the whole sky several times every night looking for moving objects. Atlas will provide a warning time depending on the size of the asteroid. Larger asteroids can be detected further from Earth. Atlas will be a small 20-meter asteroid several days out, and 100-meter asteroid several weeks out. A 100-meter asteroid has approximately 10 times the destructive force of the recent Tonga volcanic eruption. Origami metamaterials. Origami metamaterials refers to a type of material designed using the principles of origami, the Japanese art of paper folding. They have unique and advanced mechanical properties, including the ability to fold and unfold under stress change shape and maintain their structural integrity. Origami metamaterials can be used in various fields such as aerospace engineering for creating deployable structures like solar panels and antenna, robotics for creating soft robots with folding and grasping capabilities, biomedical engineering for creating implantable devices and drug delivery systems, architecture and construction for creating flexible and lightweight and collapsible structures, energy generation for creating large scale flexible solar panels with high energy conversion efficiency. Deep Ocean Mission. The Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, chaired by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has approved the proposal of Ministry of Earth Sciences on Deep Ocean Mission, with a view to explore deep ocean for resources and to develop deep sea technologies for sustainable use of ocean resources. Deep Ocean Mission will be a mission mode project to support the blue economy. Initiatives the Government of India, Ministry of Earth Sciences will be the nodal ministry of implementing this multi-institutional ambitious mission. The aim of the deep ocean exploration of PMSTIAC is to scientifically explore our understanding of the blue frontier. The information from the mission will address issues arising from long-term changes in the ocean due to climate change. The focus areas will cover the development of technologies for deep sea exploration and exploitation of living biodiversity and non-living minerals resources, development of underwater vehicles and underwater robotics, development of ocean climate change advisory services, technological innovations and conservational methods for sustainable utilization of marine bioresources, offshore based desalination techniques and renewable energy generation. Deep sea mining. Deep sea mining is the extraction of valuable metals and minerals by stripping away wide swaths of the deep ocean floor using robotic cutting missions. Nickel, copper, cobalt, manganese, zinc, gold and other rare earth metals and minerals much of which are used in electronics. They are found on the sea floor, embedded in three types of mineral forms: cobalt rich crust, polymetallic sulfides, and polymetallic nodules. The latter type forming seafloor fields that can be thousands of miles long. The Clarion Clipperton fracture zone in the Pacific Ocean is believed to be the most mineral rich seafloor in the world. The Clarion to Clipperton fracture zone in the Pacific Ocean is believed to be the most mineral rich seafloor in the world. All minerals exploration and exploitation activities must be sponsored by state party to UN clause and approved by the International Seabed Authority. India was the first country in the world to have sponsored the exploration of deep sea mineral with polymetallic nodules in the central Indian Ocean basin in 1987. Ramanujacharya. Recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the 16 feet tall statue of equality commemorating the 11th century Bhakti Saint Sri Ramanujacharya in Telangana Shamshabad. Ramanujacharya brought a movement has revolted against the discrimination of untouchability and helped the people who were considered as untouchables. A big change in the society that made him famous among his followers. He played a major role in bringing Vaishnavism tradition, which is the important part of Hinduism. Sri Ramanujacharya's teachings were different from Adi Shankaracharya's teaching. He created his own teachings on the basis of what he believed and written several books. His major work was Vedartha Sangraha, Sri Bhashya, Bhagavad Gita Bhashya. Under the PMMVY, all pregnant women and lactating mothers, PW and LM, excluding those who are in regular employment with the central government or the state governments or PSUs, or those who are in receipt of similar benefits under any law for the time being in force are the target beneficiary. Beneficiaries under PMMVY receive a cash benefit of ₹5,000 in 3 installments on fulfilling the following conditions: early registration of pregnancy, anti-natal checkup, registration of the birth of the child, and completion of first cycle of vaccination for the first living child of the family. Battle of Chamkaur. The battle was fought over the 3 days from December 21 to 23, 1704 between the Khalsa of Guru Gobind Singh and the coalition forces of the Mughals and Rajput hill chieftains under Aurangzeb. In the battle of Chamkaur, Guru Gobind Singh along with his 2 sons, 40 followers withstood the might of a Muslim and Rajput coalition from a small Haveli house, which provincially had high mud walls surrounding it. The enemy force comprising of infantry, horse cavalry and artillery guns was about 1,000 strong. The battle of Chamkaur resulted in infusing a strong military ideology among peasants, which led to the ultimate downfall of the strongest empires, Muslim and Afghan, seen in the history in the world, creation of a new one, the Sikh Empire. Similar to what was stated in the Vishaka judgment of the Supreme Court, the Posh Act defines sexual harassment under Section 2N, Clause N of the Act. The Posh Act says that sexual harassment is any unwelcome sexual behavior, whether directly expressed or implied, and include the cases of physical contact and advances, or a sexual favor demand or requested, or making remarks with sexual overtones, and showing pornography or other offensive material, or acting is an unwelcome sexual manner through physical, verbal or non-verbal means. According to Section 10 of the Posh Act, an internal committee or local committee can attempt to resolve a complaint between the parties at the request of the aggrieved woman through conciliation by reaching amicable settlement. Applications of environmental DNA. Biodiversity monitoring, eDNA, can be used to identify and track the presence and abundance of species in a given environment. Invasive species detection, eDNA can help detect the spread of invasive species in a new environment. Conservation management, eDNA can provide valuable information for decision making in conservation management, such as monitoring population of endangered species. Water quality assessment, eDNA can be used to identify microorganisms in water samples, providing information on water quality and potential pathogens. Disease diagnosis, eDNA can also be identify pathogens in medical samples, providing a quick and non-invasive method for disease diagnosis. Forensics, eDNA can be used in forensic investigations, such as identifying the source of biological evidence in crime scenes. Agriculture, eDNA can be used to monitor and control pests and diseases in agriculture, help to reduce the need for chemical pesticides. A parasitic wasp. A parasitic wasp is a type of insect that belongs to the Hymenoptera order. These wasps lay their eggs on inside the body of another insect, often a pest species. Parasitic wasps can locate their host using various cues such as pheromones, visual cues and vibrations. Some specific are able to recognize the scent of a particular plant that their host insect feeds on, while others can detect the sounds produced by the host insect. There are many different species of parasitic wasps with a wide range of sizes and host preferences. Some species are generalist and will parasitize range of insect species, and while others are highly specialized and only target one for a few specific hosts. Graphene is a one atom thick layer of carbon atoms arranged in hexagonal lattice. It is the building block of graphite, but graphene is a remarkable substance on its own with a multitude of astonishing properties. It is the thinnest, most electrically and thermal conductive material in the world, while also being flexible, transparent and incredibly strong. The unique physical and chemical properties of graphene make it an attractive material for research and development in many different areas, such as electronics. Graphene can be used as a conductor in electronics, as it is a good conductor of electricity and heat. Recent trends: CRISPR-Cas technology. The CRISPR-Cas system is widely used in synthetic biology for gene editing and regulation. Machine learning and AI. A synthetic biology is increasingly leveraging machine learning and artificial intelligence to optimize the design and engineering of biological systems. Synthetic ecosystems. Synthetic biology is being used to design and engineer synthetic ecosystems, including photosynthetic organisms and microbial communities. Integration with other fields. Synthetic biology is increasingly integrating with fields such as nanotechnology, materials science and computer science to develop new applications and techniques. Synthetic biology is an interdisciplinary field of biology that involves the design, construction and modification of biological systems and for various purposes. It combines principles from engineering, chemistry, physics and computer science to create new biological parts, devices, systems with specific functions. Synthetic biology has applications in a variety of fields, including biotechnology, medicine, environmental science, energy and industrial processes. The ultimate goal of synthetic biology is to gain a deeper understanding of biological systems and to develop new technologies for improving human health and the environment. Applications of synthetic biofuels. Synthetic biology can be used to design and engineer microorganisms to produce biofuels more efficiently. Medical treatments. Synthetic biology can be used to design and engineer biological systems for medical treatments such as vaccines and therapies. Bioremediation. Synthetic biology can be used to design and engineer programs to clean up contaminated sites and environments. Environmental monitoring. Synthetic biology can be used to design and engineer biological systems for environmental monitoring, such as sensors for detecting pollutants. Okay. QKD, quantum key distribution, is a method of secure communication that uses the principles of quantum mechanics to guarantee secure communication. The maximum distance over which QKD, quantum key distribution, can be performed is limited by the loss of quantum signals as they travel through optical fiber or air. Applications of QKD include Secure communication. QKD can provide secure communication over long distance by allowing two parties to generate shared secret key that can be used to encrypt and decrypt messages. Financial transactions. QKD can be used to secure financial transactions such as ATM transactions and online banking. Quantum key distribution. Military communications. QKD can be used to protect military communications from eavesdropping and hacking. Data center security. QKD can be used to secure data centers and protect sensitive information stored in them. Internet of Things. QKD can be used to secure IoT devices and protect sensitive information transmitted over the network. Limitations of QKD. Quantum key distribution. Technical complexity. QKD systems are technically complex and require specialized hardware and software. Cost. QKD systems can be expensive to implement and maintain. Distance limitations. The maximum distance over which QKD can be performed is limited by the loss of quantum signals as they travel through optical fiber or air. Reliance on trusted devices. QKD relies on the use of trusted devices to perform key generation and distribution, making the security of the system dependent on the security of these devices. Scalability. The scalability of QKD systems is a challenge as the number of users that can be supported by a single system is limited. Interception attacks. QKD is vulnerable to interception attacks where an attacker intercepts and manipulates the quantum signals in transit. Acha. Enforcement in RBI. The Reserve Bank has powers to impose penalties under various laws affecting the banking and financial sector. That is Viz Banking Regulation Act 1949, Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, Payments and Settlement Systems Act 2007, Securitization and Reconstruction of Financial Assets and Enforcement of Security Interest Act 2002, etc. A separate enforcement department EFD was established in Reserve Bank on April 3, 2017. In this regard, the core functions of EFD enforcement department, a separate EFD is to enforce regulations with an objective of promoting financial system stability, public interest and consumer protection. Basics of enforcement. Actionable violations are determined on the basis of fact of violation and material of the violation. Materiality of the violation is determined on the basis of the extent and frequency. Initially, EFD was tasked with the responsibility of imposing monetary penalties for violations by scheduled commercial banks under various acts. Subsequently, enforcement work pertaining to cooperative banks and non-banking financial companies were also brought under the purview of EFD. Will effect from October 3, 2018. Thereafter, regulation of housing finance companies under the NHB Act and the consequent enforcement actions were transferred to Reserve Bank. While various statutes powers empowers the Reserve Bank to take potential action, both monetary and non-monetary enforcement policy addresses violations attracting imposition of monetary penalty. Violations of inviting non-monetary penalties or imposing of penal interest would be enforced by the respective regulatory and supervisory departments. UNESCO Creative Sites Network. Hyderabad, Chennai, Varanasi, Srinagar, Mumbai and Jaipur are in Creative Sites Network list. UCCN was created in 2004. UNESCO Creative Sites Network UCCN. It aims to promote cooperation among cities which recognize creativity as a strategic factor in their urban employment. The network covers 7 creative fields such as crafts and folk arts, media arts, film design, gastronomy, literature and music. Indian cities on UCCN: Srinagar, crafts and folk arts 2021, Mumbai, film 2019, Hyderabad, gastronomy 2019, Chennai, creative city of music 2017, Jaipur, crafts and folk arts 2015, Varanasi, creative city of music. Partapi Narmada River Linking Project. Partapi Narmada River Linking Project. The Partapi Narmada Link Project was envisioned under the 1980 National Perspective Plan under the former Union Minister of Irrigation under the Central Water Commission. The project proposes to transfer river water from surplus regions of the Western Ghats to the deficient regions of Saurashtra and Kutch through the Sardar Sarovar project. It proposes to link three rivers per originating from Nashik to in Maharashtra and flowing through the Valsad, Tapi from Satpura that flows through the Maharashtra and Surat in Gujarat, and Narmada originating in Madhya Pradesh and flowing through Maharashtra and Bharuch and Narmada districts in Gujarat. The link mainly includes the construction of 7 dams: Jeri, Mohan Kavchali, Paiket, Chas Mandava, Chikkad Dabbar and Kelvan. 3 diversion wares. Okay. Of these, the Jeri dam falls in Nashik, while remaining dams are in Valsad and Dang districts of South Gujarat.